Right now, this team is at a crossroads. A key piece of the attack is gone, and that changes everything. The board needs to make decisions, the coaching staff needs to shape its identity, and the direction they choose will define exactly how they see the future of this squad. As a fan, you feel it. This isn't just another preseason move. This is the kind of moment that defines what comes next. But before I tell you the details, click the like button so you don't miss any updates. The news hit Berea like a punch in the gut. David Njoku is officially leaving, announcing that it's time for me to find a new home, and thus, the Cleveland Browns face a major change at the tight end position. It's not just about losing a starter. It's about losing a pacemaker, a playmaker, and a locker room presence. And now, Andrew Berry and his management need to react. This is where things get even more interesting. Reports indicate that the Browns are expected to look for a tight end this offseason to play alongside Harold Fannin Jr., especially with Todd Monken, bringing his vast experience with two tight end, 12 personnel formations to Cleveland. If you know Monken's background, you know he loves two tight end formations. Physical football, balanced offenses, support for the running game with explosive potential on long passes. This identity shift seems very real at this point. But let's talk about the financial side, because that matters. Njoku's departure leaves the Browns with $24.3 million in dead costs against the salary cap, treated as a post-June 1st release, with $9.5 million spread over 2026 and $14.79 million over 2027. That's not a small amount. It's not an ideal situation. It's yet another example of how to defer salary payments. The front office is clearly grappling with salary cap challenges, and that certainly influences the type of replacement they will seek. One name that immediately stands out is Isaiah Likely. The Baltimore Ravens tight end is only 25 years old, athletic, versatile, and already familiar with two tight end systems alongside Mark Andrews. The Spotrac projects his market value at around $9 million per year, potentially even less than Njoku could demand. Think about that for a second. Younger, explosive, and possibly cheaper. Imagine Likely playing alongside Harold Fannin Jr., who led the Browns with 72 receptions and 731 receiving yards, plus 6 touchdowns. Two athletic tight ends capable of winning ball battles. Two disadvantages for the linebackers. This isn't just replacing key players, it's evolving the offense. And with Monken's connection to Likely's experience in the system, this idea doesn't seem absurd, but perhaps the Browns will opt for a cheaper solution. Perhaps they'll choose a draft pick. Will Kakmarek, from Ohio State, is known as the best blocking tight end in this class. At 6'4" and 220 lbs, he commands respect at the line of scrimmage. And he's not just a blocker, he scored 2 touchdowns last season, including a 47-yard reception. If Cleveland wants to reestablish physical dominance and build a team around Quinshon Judkins in the running game, adding a blocking specialist on day 3 of the draft could be the solution. And then there's Marlon Klein from Michigan. Field Yates considered him potentially the second-best blocking tight end in the class, and one of the top 5 tight ends overall. He offers more potential as a receiver than people realize. Versatility, physicality, and again, likely available on day 2 or 3 of the draft. That's value. That's salary cap friendly. That's sustainable roster building. And then we have to talk about the name that changes everything, Travis Kelce. And then there's Marlon Klein from Michigan. Field Yates considered him potentially the second-best blocking tight end in the class, and one of the top 5 tight ends overall. He offers more potential as a receiver than people realize. Versatility, physicality, and again, likely available on day 2 or 3 of the draft. That's value. That's salary cap friendly. That's sustainable roster building. And then we have to talk about the name that changes everything, Travis Kelce. Yes, that Travis Kelce, the Cleveland Heights native, a free agent, and still incredibly productive, with 851 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 108 targets last season. There's speculation about retirement, but also rumors that he could sign a 1-year contract and return home. If there's even the slightest chance he'd want to return home for one last season, why not explore that possibility? He would instantly become the most complete tight end option available. Leadership, experience, big game track record. And what about pairing him with Fannin in a 2 tight end system? Defensive coordinators would lose sleep. The Browns clearly have a direction to decide. Will they spend a moderate amount on a younger free agent like Likely? Will they recruit and develop a physical blocker to support Monken's scheme? Or will they risk everything and see if a local legend wants to finish his career in Cleveland? It's not just about replacing a player, It's about defining the next phase of the Browns' offensive identity. Will they bet everything on physical football again? Will they bet on youth? Or will they pursue another big signing? Now, I want to know your opinion. If you were in charge of this team, who would you choose to replace David Njoku alongside Harold Fannin Jr.? And what direction should the Browns take from here? And there's another rookie name you can't ignore here, Don Bentley from Utah. According to Mel Kiper, he's the second best tight end prospect in this draft class. That's no small feat. Utah has quietly built a reputation for developing tight ends, and Bentley fits that profile perfectly. At 200 pounds, he has a physique that immediately stands out in videos. He looks like a traditional tight end, but what makes him intriguing is that he poses a greater threat in the passing game than people realize. This combination is important, because if Cleveland truly commits to the two tight end formation under Todd Monken, you don't just want blockers, you want disguises. You want defenses to be unsure whether you're going to run the ball or attack the gaps in the defense. Bentley offers that flexibility. He can line up at the line of scrimmage, feint a run, and then penetrate the space. This kind of unpredictability opens up a whole range of possibilities in the game. Let's take a step back and look at the big picture. The Browns already have Harold Fannin Jr. positioned as the tight end of the future. He led the team with 72 receptions, 731 yards, and 6 touchdowns last season. That production isn't by chance. He earned that role. Therefore, whoever comes next won't replace Njoku as the sole primary target. They'll be complementing Fannin. That completely changes the strategy. If you sign Isaiah Likely, you're being aggressive. You're investing real money, projected to be around $9 million annually, in a second dynamic weapon. You're betting on athleticism and his proven ability to produce in the NFL. That's a move that demonstrates the Browns want to compete immediately and give Monken 2 legitimate threats at pass reception. If you draft someone like Will Kekmarek, Marlon Klein, or Don Bentley, you're signaling patience. You're signaling awareness of the salary cap. Remember, the Browns are already absorbing $24.3 million in dead costs under salary cap due to Njoku's departure spread over the next few seasons. This financial reality makes rookie contracts extremely attractive. Controlled costs, development potential, scheme fit. And then we have the unknown quantity. Travis Kelce, the Cleveland Heights native, still productive with 851 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 108 receptions last season. There are retirement rumors, of course, but there's also the possibility of a 1-year contract. If he wants one last season, if he wants to come home, if he believes he can still contribute, that would instantly change the energy around this offense. Imagine this story. A local star returning to Cleveland, teaming up with Fannin in 2 tight end formations, mentoring young players, bringing playoff experience to a locker room, trying to stabilize its identity. Even with a short-term contract, the impact would be enormous, both on the field and on the team culture. What stands out most in all of this is that Cleveland isn't standing still. The expectation is clear. They're going to look for a tight end this offseason. This isn't speculation. It's a clear direction. The offense is moving toward a heavier roster, toward balance, toward a physical style of football that supports the running game and creates defensive problems. This decision will say a lot about how Andrew Berry sees this team right now. Are they rebuilding? Are they building methodically? Or are they betting everything on immediate competitiveness? Because replacing David Njoku isn't just about filling a roster spot, it's about shaping the offense for 2026 and beyond. It's about providing adequate support for Harold Fannin Jr., it's about aligning with Todd Monken's philosophy, and it's about managing a salary cap situation that doesn't leave much room for error. So now, it's your turn. Which direction should they take? Invest in Isaiah Likely? Draft and develop Kekmarek, Klein, or Bentley? Or should we make the bold choice and see if Travis Kelce wants to come home for one last season? Leave your opinion in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next update, leave a like if you're rooting for Dawg Pound, and click on the video now for more content about the Browns. The latest news and exclusive analysis, you'll only find it here.